Hello friend, welcome. Today we are going to talk about 6 things that you need to ditch today for happy hormones and happier periods. Let's dive in. All right, so I know I just said happy hormones and happier periods. However, I will say that though I added the and happier periods on the end, and that is going to be a byproduct of happier hormones, that these things to ditch are actually beneficial for hormones, both male and female hormones. So these are things that it will be good for you for not just for period hormones. You get what I'm saying? All right, so I am sipping my raspberry leaf tea here, which is a great thing for long-term support of hormones for women especially. But this video is about what to ditch for those. I had already shared with you guys a few steps for women for reducing painful periods and natural solutions for those in the short term. However, long-term solutions to that or any other hormone issues are going to be working to really balance your hormones. Now, that's going to take eliminating hormone disruptors out of your diet, out of your lifestyle products, and then adding in a few things to help, one, kind of flush out some of those hormone disruptors that over the years have accumulated in something we call bioaccumulation, and also just really helping support it because day in and day out we're exposed to a lot of these things. So today I'm going to keep it as simple as possible, and I had a long list that I had started going of all the different things that we should ditch for happy hormones, and then I realized, okay, that's a little overwhelming. Let's start small, and we're going to talk about the things that are easy to throw out and that you could switch today, that it might not take longer term. Now, some of these might, and to do all of them might take some time. You might ditch one of them today, and then another one next quarter, and then another one the next quarter. And know that even if you can't do all of them, every one that you eliminate is something less that's bioaccumulating in your body. So even one small change is going to make a difference. You don't have to do everything at one time. I feel like our culture today is kind of like one of those, oh, we have to do it all, we have to do it all, and if I'm going to do, all or nothing kind of thing. And that is not the way that health works at all. It is not all or nothing. It is about consistency, and it is consistent, small changes consistent over time, essentially. All right, no more chit chat. Let's dive right into the 6 things. I was going to say 5. I did 6. All right. Thing 1, air fresheners, plugins, and candles. Now, I know, friend, I used to be addicted to all 3 of these things in my home, and everybody wants a home that smells good. I have good news for you. There's some easy, simple switches you can do and make that are safe and don't negatively impact your hormones. But first, you want to ditch what is. So stop using the air fresheners, stop using the plugins, stop using the scented candles especially, but really any commercial candle out there unless it is 100% beeswax with a cotton wick. Because did you know, on the market today, companies legally sell, and many of them, this is most candles on the market, contain lead in the wick. So as you're burning that, you're burning lead into the air of your home, which who wants to be breathing lead? We all know that's bad, right? So I used to buy Yankee candles like nobody's business and scented candles from all over the place. It's not just them. Until I started really learning about the artificial fragrance and how these products, and not just these, but several of the other ones that we're going to talk about today, contain what are called xenoestrogens. Now, xenoestrogens are synthetic estrogens. They're made in a lab, and your body does not know how to synthesize them. So when you are exposed to a xenoestrogen, it throws your hormone balance completely out of whack. And your body kind of goes into a freak out mode, stress, anxiety. You can feel that. It can manifest in a lot of different ways. You might feel it emotionally. I always say these days, now that we've detoxed from a lot of those things, and I have not had air fresheners or plugins or scented candles in my home for over 10 years, probably, maybe about 10 years, 10 to 15 years, somewhere in that range. And so now when I walk in and I'm exposed to it, I know when there's a plug-in or some sort of air freshener's been sprayed or there's a candle burning without even seeing it, because I know how my body responds. And so these were things that I didn't think I was sensitive to before. I just, like everybody, I just used the products and I loved them. But I had frequent headaches. I had heavy and irregular periods. I had a really bad cramping with my periods. I had just all sorts of different things that would go wrong with my body that were inflammation caused by the accumulation of these chemicals and synthetic products that my body didn't know what to do with. So eliminating those is going to be super beneficial for your body, especially if you breathe them in and day out right now. And I have a challenge for you. If you don't think that they have an impact on your body, take them out of your house. Maybe put them in your garage or in a cabinet at the very least, but unplug the plugins, don't spray the air fresheners, put them in a cabinet for a month. A week may or may not be enough time, but do it for a month and then pull it back out and see how you feel. The simplest solution is to get a cold air diffuser and some essential oils if you want to replace the fragrance and the aroma and you want something to purify the air. Good news, it doesn't just cover up smells the way that plugins and air fresheners and scented candles do, but you can still get that really good pumpkin spice in the fall and walk in the woods in the winter. Your fresh cut grass smells in the summer. You can customize your blends however you want. I will give the caveat, please do not just get your essential oils from Bed Bath & Beyond or Target or any big box store or online through Amazon, because those oils contain the same chemicals that many of the plugins and I should say many of those oils will contain the same kind of chemicals that are in the plugins and air fresheners and scented candles. So you'd be like, I don't really notice a difference. Well, yeah, that's because there's not really much of one. So you want to be sure that the company that you're getting your oils from is actually using pure plant oils, just like God created the plant without adding anything, without distorting the oil in the distillation process. And so for us, that means Young Living essential oils are the only oils that cross the threshold of our home. So you can learn more in my Seed to Seal video. I'll be sure to link that below as well. So that's a great way to replace the fragrances if you love the candle flicker, which I do too. When some of our diffusers through Young Living actually have a candle flicker option, which is fun, but it's still not the same. I use it in the evenings, but we do use candles in our home. We just make sure that they're 100% beeswax and that they have a cotton wick. Because did you know that most of the candles on the market today contain lead in the wicks? And so you don't want to be burning lead into your air. You want cotton wicks only. And so I'll link for you one of my favorite beeswax candle companies in the description below. It's not an affiliate link or anything. I just really like the company. So I'll link that for you there. You can also find them frequently like at farmers markets and that sort of thing. You're looking for 100% beeswax and you want a cotton wick, no lead. All right, moving on. Thing number 2. Conventional meat and dairy. Ditch them today. Now, I am not anti-meat. I am not anti-dairy. In fact, I am super pro-meat and super pro-dairy. However, I want you to consume them in the way that God intended them to be consumed. That means the animals need to be raised eating a diet that God intended that animal to eat. Cows were never meant to eat grain. They were meant to eat grass. Chickens aren't supposed to be 100% vegetarian fed. They eat bugs and worms. Like, that's what they live on in the wild. And so you want to make sure that you are getting your meat and you're getting your dairy as close to the form that God intended us to be consuming and eating. So that means that the animals are raised in the manner that are closest to nature and their natural diets, and that they're slaughtered humanely and all those things. Because believe it or not, that actually goes into your food. So this will not be a graphic explanation, but there is something to the kosher method of slaughtering a cattle in cutting its egg quickly and if it doesn't die with that, then it's not kosher anymore. Well, that's because the cattle, if it's not quickly dead, releases cortisol because it's stressed. It's like something's wrong, it's freaking out. This isn't supposed to be happening, is what he's thinking. And that releases cortisol into the meat, which then if you consume it, then you're adding extra cortisol to your body, stress hormone, which impacts your hormonal balance. So you don't want extra cortisol. Most of us have plenty of that already these days. So make sure you are consuming meat and dairy as close to the form as possible. That, like I said, that God intended for us to be eating, and it doesn't have added extra hormones or antibiotics or anything into the meat that then you're consuming. Because not only are you what you eat, but you are what you eat, what they ate. So, all right, moving along. Thing number 3 to ditch today is unfiltered water. Now, I know there's a lot of filters on refrigerators these days, and that's better than nothing. However, it's still not going to pull out the minute things in your water, like birth control, because there's lots of birth control, there's lots of prescriptions, there's lots of other chemicals and things that have been found in water because people are flushing their prescriptions down the toilet, which ends up in the water treatment plant, and they can't fully strip that from the water and what methods that they use in the water treatment plants. So that ends up in your drinking water at your home. And so we use a Berkey water filtration system, I should say. It's a gravity water filtration system. It even has fluoride arsenic filters on it to pull out the fluoride and the arsenic from the water. That's something else, is getting the fluoride out of your water, because fluoride has thyroid suppressant properties, and it suppresses your thyroid. Well, if your thyroid is off, that's part of your endocrine system. So then that throws off the rest of your hormonal balance. So you don't want to be suppressing anything in your body unnaturally. So we use the Berkey, it pulls that out. Reverse osmosis also will pull out fluoride. Spring water, getting a really good spring water will have the fluoride. Of course, there's no fluoride in spring water. Just want to make sure that's been run through a filter as well, because people dump things in springs. But fresh mountain springs up at near the top of the water before it comes down to civilization a little bit more, those tend to be purer than the rivers that are down, and springs that are down near cities. Number 4, and I feel like this one almost doesn't need to be said, and yet probably does need to be said, because part of it might just be the amount of time I have been in the natural world already. And so I assume that most people know this, but if you want healthy hormones and you want happier periods, you've got to ditch the synthetic hormones. So I know a lot of people are taking birth control thinking it's regulating their hormones. And really, that's a synthetic estrogen. Your body doesn't know how to break that down. And so that will throw off your hormones like crazy. Now, don't just go and jump off of something without a doctor's advice and guidance. Be sure you're consulting your physician or pharmacist in working together to get a plan to get off of those kinds of things. But you want to ditch the synthetic hormones if you want your body to function in balancing its own hormones well. Thing number 5 are traditional, conventional personal care products. Things like soap, cleansers, moisturizers, lotions, makeup. Friend, if you are using regular makeups and things that you buy in the big box store or even from some big cosmetic companies, there are only a few companies out there. There are only a few companies out there that have truly clean makeup. So you want to make sure you're looking at the ingredients list, not just at the marketing of clean makeup, natural makeup. You want to be sure that you are looking at the ingredients list and use something like the environmental working groups, Think Dirty app, to enter in the ingredients so you can see where those rank on things. Just know, as I've talked about in a previous video, that that's a great useful tool. However, it's not all inclusive. Some of it, make sure you read why if it ranks high, because sometimes it'll rank like lavender oil high. Well, that's because it's including every lavender oil. Like we just talked about, there's a lot of oils on the market that contain all of the synthetic hormone stuff and synthetics in general and aren't even real oils. So yeah, that's going to be dangerous versus an actual true pure 100% distilled lavender oil that's from the lavender plant. So you want to make sure you're looking at why things rank high, but that's a great resource to go to for personal care products. I recommend switching from personal care products. Honestly, I've told you guys over and over before, my favorite tool for empowering families to wellness authentically is Young Living essential oils, because it's your one-stop shop and they do such a great job with the seed to seal standard. That's not just on their oils, that's on all of their products. So including Savvy Minerals makeup that comes from them, including all of the personal care, the soaps, the hand soaps, all of those things. Anything that you would put on your body, if you don't feel safe enough to consume it, if you have to call poison control, it's probably a good sign that it needs to go. Last, but certainly not least, number 5 thing to ditch today for happy, healthy hormones are conventional cleaning products. Friends, oh my goodness, the Lysol, the Clorox, all of these things on the market, the number of different, my brain is just floored when I walk into a store. I rarely go into big box stores anymore. So when I walk into a big box store and I just see aisles of cleaning products and I think, we've replaced like every cleaning product in our home with the exception, like dish soap, we have a dish soap and a dishwasher detergent, but everything fits in like one little area because Thieves Household Cleaner takes care of all of it, all surfaces. It takes care of our wood floors. It takes care of our counters, our toilets, our mirrors, our windows, you name it, red wine stains. I use it in the oven to clean the oven and the stovetop and our fridge. You don't need different cleaners for all of those things. Most of those cleaners are really crazy, highly toxic. And most people assume that because it's on the store shelf, it's been tested and it had to go through regulation. But the truth is the Toxic Substance Control Act of 1976 grandfathered in over 80,000 chemicals that have had zero safety testing. Zero, never been tested, ever. And they're in products on the store. And we assumed that our regulatory agencies would never allow this to be there. But they grandfathered all of those in without needing safety testing. So a lot of those products are super dangerous. Some of them, we don't know how dangerous. But again, same thing as going back to number 1 when I said pull out the synthetic fragrances for a week to a month and see how you feel afterwards. Do the same thing with your cleaning products. I can't walk near the cleaning aisle at the big box store anymore without getting a headache almost immediately. I'm like, really? And I used to use this all over my home. No wonder my hormones were a mess. No wonder my digestive system was a mess. No wonder I felt stressed and anxious sometimes, just like this constant stress. And it was because of the chemicals I was breathing in. So you heard me offer one solution. Thieves Household Cleaner from Young Living is a wonderful solution. But you can also just use baking soda and vinegar if you want. I did that for a very long time before switching over to Thieves. I found out later from some of my friends who weren't brave enough to tell me at the time that my apartment always smelled like vinegar. I got used to it and thought it dissipated. They said, no, it didn't. So if you'd rather your apartment smell good and have people tell you it smells so good every time they come instead of quietly judging your vinegar smell house. You can use Thieves Household Cleaner, but vinegar and baking soda do work as a really great solution if you don't have the access to Thieves yet. And if you want to ditch it today and you're waiting for your Thieves, then vinegar and baking soda would be a great option. So those are the 6 things, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, the 6 things that are easy to ditch today. Maybe I'll do a video in the future on long-term things to switch. If you'd like to see that, let me know. But the easy, simple ones, you could ditch and switch right away. Pick one and do it tonight. Like, just do it tonight. Be sure to let me know if you want to do the long-term ones. And coming up very soon in a couple of weeks, I will give you a few things to help, like we talked about at the beginning, to add in and balance that the body really likes. Things like raspberry tea. All right, friends, have a great rest of the day. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so that you get notified every time a new video goes live. Cheers, friends.